Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's Zoom with L.O.S S. I'm Treva Gordon, I'm your founder, and I'm so happy to be here tonight. So you just noticed there's a backpack there in the photo, in the frame. We're going to be unpacking grief tonight. We want to unpack some things and also open up some areas to heal and to let you all know that it is okay to heal. It is okay to grieve. It is okay to mourn. It is okay to cry. It is okay to not be okay. And I want everyone here to know that tonight it is a safe place. So I want you to feel safe here. I want you to feel welcome. I want you to know that if you're watching tonight, some of you, not all of you, you may be in a place where you feel sad, you feel alone. But I want you to know that sadness is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you deeply loved or you carry something that was dear in your heart. So one thing about grief, you don't have to rush it, let it speak, and be kind to yourselves as you would to a friend. And if you need help, reach out and text someone. I want to talk about the backpack of grief. And sometimes we carry the grief 1 year, we carry it 2 years, we carry it 5 years, we carry it 10 years, we carry it 20 years. And it's grief. What is grief? It is the loss of a loved one. It's something that we have grieved. And it not necessarily always have to be a death. It could be a divorce. It could be, hi Trina, it could be a relationship. It could be something that has been not with you, if you understand what I'm saying. I was a caregiver for years, so I just felt like I wasn't seen. I felt like I wasn't heard. I felt like I was all alone. I felt like no one knew my pain. I felt like no one understood. And those are signs of grief, when you feel like I can't open up and I can't share with anyone. For you, those of you in the chat, or if you want to comment or you want to speak, what is your loss? Or what is your grief? You can put it in the chat, or you can tell me. My grief was my husband, Robert. Robert passed away in 2019. Also, my grief was my father, who passed 2 years ago, and my sister, who passed away 2 years ago. So that is why I am here. I started L.O.S.S because when Robert passed, I felt like I didn't have a place to go. I did not have an outlet. I was looking for a grief support network and I couldn't find one. And so my therapist said, well, why don't you start one? That was the last thing I wanted to hear from a therapist. Start my own group. I'm not a therapist, but I'm hurting. She said, well, maybe you need to start one. So because I was in so much pain, I just began telling people I'm hurting. I hurt. I'm in pain. My heart is shattered. And I found people along my journey who said, I feel like you do. I can relate. There's something in the backpack that brought you all here tonight. What brought you here tonight? Because we're going to get to the elevation side, but there are steps to grief. I wish there was a shortcut. I started L.O.S.S because I knew that I was going to miss my husband for the rest of my life. And that's just the truth. Yes, I can move forward, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you the tools to move forward, but you don't have to forget about your pet, Tara. You don't have to forget about your grandfather who has passed away. And it takes courage to talk. Sometimes you say, Treva, I don't want to talk about it. And that's okay too. It is okay too.
Now, grief, the burden of grief is heavy, however you look at it, to me.
Okay.
It's a burden. And some people grieve differently. Some people grieve longer. Some people grieve to a point where some people just don't understand, but that's their grief. That's them and their grief.
Treva, this is Marcy. I wanted to add. Okay, well, I was looking at from the opposite with the many losses I've had. My mother, father, sister, brother, my son, now my husband. I was looking at it as really heavy at first, and to me it gets better. So I was looking at the picture from the other way. As time goes on, it gets better. So that's what I thought.
We're here tonight because, we're going to open up some areas to get to the good stuff. I had to unpack. My backpack was like so huge when my husband passed, because I carried for years as a caregiver, not being able to tell anyone that he was ill. And then I grieved. There was so many people that had passed away in my life. My backpack was the furthest one on the right. It was the largest one. And what I did, I began running, I began going, I began hiding, I began not opening up. And then one day God asked me, he said, what is your truth? What is your truth? So tonight, I want to ask you guys, what's in the backpack? What's in the backpack? Would anyone like to share what you might be feeling at this time? Anyone like to open up? You feel free to share.
I feel numb to death and different circumstances now. It seemed like it just takes me so long to process death. You shared a beautiful picture of Aunt Joan, and I couldn't even respond to you no more. I had to stop. I think I came back the next day and answered because I never ever really fully dealt with any of my loved ones' death. And to see her beautiful face, it just took me a minute to just really process. And I think that's where I'm at, just trying to process each loved one's death because I made myself so numb at the time.
And you know, that is your truth, and that's a beautiful truth. And that is where the healing begins. Now, to some people who are listening, it might make them uncomfortable, but it's not about them in this moment. It is about each individual person and their own losses. This is my story. This is my grief. As you can see, the gentleman with the backpack, there's not a single person carrying that weight. That weight is all him. He's carrying that. What are you carrying tonight? I want to know. Put it in the chat. What are you carrying? Because my healing came. I didn't say I got over, but my healing came when I gave God. I said, I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm mad at you. I'm so mad. I'm angry. God said, give it to me. Because he says we can cast our cares upon him. See, we're going to help you get to the other side of it. The other day, I was blessed to attend a graduation ceremony for one of my beautiful daughters in Christ. And at that time, she had so many losses in her life, and she had to unpack all of that. She had to unpack all of that, and we sat with her throughout that grief, and we unpacked it together. Everybody say together.
Together.
Everybody say together, because we are not alone. Say, I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
See, when I was going through my loss, I felt alone. My therapist says, well, start a group. That I don't think that was great advice, and you're my therapist. Hi, Lori. I met Lori on a retreat, and I won't ever say anything, but I met her on a retreat, and I'm so thankful for my sister. I'm meeting people all around the world as I travel, and I'm so thankful. We were at a widow's retreat and also a grief share retreat and in Savannah, Georgia, and it really blessed me what I asked God in my grief. I said, God, I need connections. In my truth, I need connections. Well, some of those connections are here tonight. All of you are my connections. I've connected with each and every one of you over the years because it's what we ask God for. Hi, Elena.
Hi.
Hi, darling. I just acknowledge your comment. What would you like to say and welcome to L.O.S. on Zoom?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for this format. I want to thank Marcy for we're close for introducing me to you. My hubby passed in January, and as one of the other ladies said, I've been numb for a while. That big backpack is what I'm feeling. He had a terminal illness, so I was his caregiver for a couple of years. And once he passed, which was a shocker, all I could think about was my daughter. And in that backpack is my baby girl. She's 34 and, out on her own. But I lost my father when I was 19. He was 48. I was in college and he had lung cancer, just like my husband. And she's going to move back home when school's out. She's grieving. And it's like I'm on pause and all of that. Her whole body is in that backpack. because I know when she comes back to our home and the everyday I've struggled since January alone. But when my baby, it's like I can't totally heal. I'm in therapy because I know how this feels. Although I was 19 and she's 34, the pain is the same.
Mm.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you know, just you give yourself time. I love that you said you're in therapy. Whatever we can do, whatever, you know, whatever helps us. Like you're here tonight. You were invited by Marcy to come. And I'm so thankful that you're here. You're not alone. And you know, I just want to tell you guys, it gets better over time, but just take your time. When will that happen? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know when it'll happen. I don't know. But if you continue to involve yourself with things such as this and therapy, and we're going to talk about things to do, you're going to find that change is coming. Everybody say change is coming.
Change is coming.
Everyone say this. I give myself permission
I give myself
Give
permission
myself permission
to feel,
to feel,
to rest,
to rest,
and to heal.
and to heal.
I want you to say this, and I want you to put your hand, place it on your heart. Say, it's okay.
it's okay.
Say, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I will be okay.
I will be okay.
It all works out
It all works out